All right, people, good evening once again, and welcome to the dialogue with myself, Lady Raj. Tonight, I have two guests with me, a couple actually, a married couple, and they're going to share their journey with us. The purpose of this is to encourage us, for all of us to learn from their story. Yes, they may not be married for 10 years or 20 years, but it's not about the length of it. It's about how deep it is. It's about all the experiences that have gone on and what they've learned from it that they want to share with the world. By the way, if you can hear me, kindly drop some fire emojis in the chat box so that I know that you can hear me. Please do this for me. If you can hear me, kindly drop some fire emojis in the all right. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Please continue to share the link with people for them to join in the conversation this evening. So, as they go along, if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat box. If you have comments, you can drop them there. If you have whatever it is, if it's quite private, you can send it to me individually. Thank you so much. So tonight, I won't talk too much. I want to quickly welcome my guests, Mr. and Mrs. David Fortunatus Tego. That's Dave and Ejubi, or Dave and Eunice. All right, guys, good evening.
Hi, Raj.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Good evening. So lovely to hear both of you tonight. And
So honored to
I
be
have had
here.
Ejubi on the show for a number of times, and I've had J Loops on the show once, but I know that they have a story to share. So I spoke with them over the weekend and said, guys, I really, really want to hear the story of how you overcame. And so, um, and they were willing to share it. So, yeah, so there you are, guys. Thank you so much for coming. The floor is yours.
Thank you
As you
so
go
much.
along, if I have questions, I'll be coming in with them and comments as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Raj. Where do we even start from?
From
Uh,
where we
Please
met.
introduce yourselves.
uh,
Introduce yourselves properly to us.
okay. Please introduce yourself.
So my name is David Tagoe. Um, yes, I'm married. I have a kid, and I'm a real estate broker, com, music entrepreneur, whatever I call it. Yeah, and we've been married for how many years?
7.
7 years. Yes, and yeah, and introduce yourself. Ajuba.
Okay. My name is Eunice Ajubitego. Since you are sharing the same thing, we married for 7 years. Yes. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm into small catering and then a
Yes.
few other
Oh,
things. And I sell. So I'm an entrepreneur as
okay.
well. And
Uh,
that's basically it. So,
okay.
Raj, where do we start from? From how we met?
From the very beginning, from how you met through to, I mean, how you got to be together, why you chose each other. I want to hear everything.
Okay, he says I should start. So,
Thank you.
so for
Okay.
me, um, I, I think I met him. My first time of meeting him was at an audition because I was coming out of a very bad relationship. I was heartbroken and I was always home. At that time, it was work, home, church. That was all. That was like my life. And so when I get home, I would cry and cry and cry. And it was getting the best part of me. So my friends thought, why don't you just get involved in something that you love to do? And so I have a friend called Nicholas. He sent me Overflow's audition flyer. And I didn't even want to go.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't want to go because I was in a very bad place. I was coming out of a very bad relationship that affected my mental health badly. So when I got there, it was like, oh, let me just go and try and see. And then 2 days to, I think, the audition date, I realized I had lost my voice. So I didn't even want to go at all. But then my cousin Ajwa, Raj, you know Ajwa. Ajwa was
Yes, I
around.
do.
Yeah, she sings as well. So she said, oh, let's go. And then we did. That was when I met him. So I joined Overflow. But as to how we got close, I mean, when I got there, I realized that it was like the people in the group were scared of him. And
Scared of
like,
me
it's
how?
true. Like, when he speaks, nobody dare says anything. Like, and I found it weird because I don't remember being in a position like that,
Like
where
whiny,
someone,
whiny.
aha. And then the first time we decided to sing with, I mean, he decided to add us to the group to sing. It was myself and Najwa. We went to Sedi's church. We're even in church. My church is at Tesano. And then he used to live at
Yeah.
Adabaka then. He wasn't getting singers. So, of course, he called us to come. We left church and followed him to Sedi's church. And after ministration and everything, he called us outside to tell us that this is the worst group of singers he's ever had. Like,
Oh my. Trust David. I trust David to say it.
oh yes. I mean, I was so humiliated and angry. I was so pissed. So you can imagine on our way home, we insulted him, my cousin and I. Oh, the thing is,
Yes, I trust you. I trust you.
we insulted him, till we got home. And when we got home, I was like, this person, cry, who does he think he is? So I think a few days later, there was rehearsal, but I didn't go. And then
Hey, Maso 24/7. Mm.
I no, you can't stress my life. So I think the next rehearsals we didn't go. And then he texted,
Dave,
what's wrong?
Dave,
What's up? David, you're
Yeah,
here.
I'm here.
please, if she leaves anything out, you can be intercepting, no, in
Oh
case
no,
she leaves
let,
something out or in case
He's
she's lying
let
to
them
us,
finish. Let
you
them
can even
finish now.
correct her.
Most of the things are weird, but you let them have the liberty to.
right.
Yo, she has okay.
So what happened was
Yo,
when he called to find out why we weren't coming for rehearsal, that was when I told him that I think I got into the group for the wrong reasons. And so I'm not getting the kind of fulfillment I hoped to get. Like that peace, like maybe I didn't come in because I just wanted to serve God. I came in because I
mm,
wanted to forget about one wicked ex. And so I wasn't getting that kind of fulfillment I expected. So I wanted to leave. So like, oh, you can open up. That's where it all started. Then the opening up. Now we've opened up and we are here. So that's my side of the story.
hey,
Oh, but
it's
me, I think,
opening up
I
for
think,
me.
I think probably she forgot this part, but
What?
there were, I, I also let me continue from where she just stopped. I also like opened up to her like a friend
Yeah.
on
Okay.
even people I liked and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even think anything going to come out of our friendship, but just she what I could confidently say, and I can confidently say now is she gives good counsel.
She
Like
does.
her advices
She
are A1. So
I
I
mean,
couldn't believe how somebody younger than me could give you like motherly grandmother kind of
Ah.
advice.
oh
So, and
god.
like, I'll tell her that, oh, Charlie, I like this person and I don't know how to go and talk to this person. And she'll take her time, illustrate how I should go around it. So, you see, the frequency of the conversation,
Mm,
you don't even realize you're getting fond of the person.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the more you talk, I remember we're doing so many free
Free
night
night
calls.
calls. Talking about other people.
Yes,
Can you
like we're
imagine?
not even thinking about talking. Like we didn't even sense
Akonkonsampo.
anything happening to us. But
I'm sure me my name
we're
came inside.
oh
Oh.
yes, of course, we gossiped about everybody in the world. Yes,
Hey you.
so that's how come then. One day it was like, I don't know. I still honestly don't know how it's happened.
I don't
But
remember.
the only thing I remember is sitting in front of her dad, telling her dad that I was interested in his daughter. Like, and it was weird. Like, I haven't gotten to that level yet.
Yeah.
From where we're coming from where I was coming from an instrumentalist kind of background, none of your friends had mastered the courage to do anything like that. So you didn't have any example to follow. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I still don't know what gave me the confidence to get into this mess in quotes, okay?
Okay,
Because there was
hold
nothing,
on.
there was no
Hold on.
preamble, anything to go
You there,
by.
hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
You guys hold on. Okay, so two things. The first thing is when Ejubi was speaking, something struck me, something she said about her reason for joining Overflow Incorporated. And I think it's very important for all of us listening to note that it's always critical that you look at your reasons for doing everything. All right, what's your motivation for being in the church choir? What's your motivation for being an usher? That business you want to venture into, that group you want to join, what is your motivation? What's the reason behind it? Because until you have found the reason and it's the right reason, you might not fulfill your purpose, or I mean, you will not accomplish anything. You just add to the numbers there. So I really like the fact that you thought about that, did you be, and you thought that you'd had to sit back for a while to actually get over your head and not use overflow as your what's the name, rebound,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. And then also Dave, it's like you people are jumping. Why are you going? You said
Okay.
you were talking. You people were doing free night calls as friends. Then, no, you have gone to sit in front
Oh, no, no, no. Okay,
of
so
her
I just
father. What
remembered
is that?
I jumped over something. So, funny enough,
You jumped
even
over a
though
lot
I
of things.
wasn't stable those years, okay, I
Explain the not
no,
stable
no, I
one.
mean,
Yes,
oh, I
stability.
mean,
No, what's that?
you don't even know what I'm going to say. You don't even know what I'm going to say. But I still
Please,
thought
the two
that
of you don't
God,
come and fight here. We beg.
I think God still gave me some amount of wisdom to know that in a group like Overflow, where there are very young people, where the probability of getting married when you are dating is very low. I just came up with a law that stated that two members can't date. I don't even know what even influenced it, but I'm sure
Yeah,
because of
jealous.
my,
Hey,
He was jealous.
it's not like jealous. It's probably because of my experiences in probably church choirs and other non-denominational choirs.
I understand.
You
I
know that
understand.
thing when people
Yeah.
date and
When they are
and
fighting.
they are
Understood.
fighting and there are
Destroying the group.
factions and things in
Mm.
the choir. Yes. So I just wanted to avoid the whole drama, but I didn't know that I would be a victim of that law. So and everything I did didn't excuse me as the head of the group. So if I realized I was falling in love with a member, I and and I wanted the whole group to follow suit, I had to be the example. So what she didn't know is I intentionally frustrated her to leave so that I could marry.
Ah,
Aha, Raj, you're in the spirit. Raj,
hey,
yeah, you've been doing this for years. You're in the spirit. Yeah, so I
this
had to.
Whatever.
fear
So it
music
was a plot.
directors,
She didn't
people,
know.
fear music directors
Yes,
and
she,
instrumentalists, fear them.
yes. So it was a plot to get her off. So
So are
I
you
could.
saying what the administration was not bad?
Well, even was bad. The way I spoke to you was different from the way I spoke to you. I'm sure you felt that I was victimizing you as an individual,
I
right?
was pissed.
Exactly. Like so, yeah. So and it happened according. She played according to the plan. She left, and there's where I had to strike. So
Wow.
yes, it was good. Yes. So basically, you can imagine. Yes. So yeah, where do you think I jumped
Wow. So
from?
it
Where
was
Where have you
intentional.
gotten to?
Yeah, so where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go back to?
Wow. You there, it's okay. I think I'm good. I'm good. So Ijubi, you
Okay.
can
All right.
continue your
So
story.
so yes,
Or okay, Dave, go
I'm
ahead.
in front of my dad. I'm like, so I tell my parents that I read to, and my mom.
I know, but we there was a relationship before meeting the parents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
So,
what I'm interested in.
uh-huh.
Like, how long did you guys date? Or you people
Okay,
just
so
move from friendship
it
to
was like seven
marriage?
months.
It was 7 months. It
It was
wasn't
like
long.
7 months. And I think when he asked me out, it took like 4 months because I wasn't so sure. And
Really, you
back
stressed
then,
me.
Yes.
David, right?
You
Back then,
stressed me.
I
I
don't
don't
think
remember. I would have
how
allowed it
you remember
now.
you were happy elsewhere.
Nonsense. Hey, rather, those guys, sorry, I'm sorry.
So
You people,
I
eh?
think I wasn't so sure about him. And like I mentioned earlier, I had just come out of a very bad relationship where I woke up and this person that you had introduced to your whole family is married. It's not like he's getting married. He's married with
Oh
pictures out
wow.
and all that. Yes. And so like a family team. I remember I went out of the house in a transparent night because I needed to go and get credit and then go on Instagram or Facebook just to be sure.
Hey.
So it was very bad for me that I wasn't ready for one a new relationship, and also I had trust issues. Then again, let me say, like, with all that I had seen about him, I wasn't feeling attracted. I hope you understand. So it was a lot of things that was sort of, you know, making me doubt whatever he was saying. But then I remember I talked to my dad about it, and he said he was going to pray about it and that I should also. And then somehow God
Hmm.
revealed certain things to me, and there were
Hmm.
confirmations. So even at that time that I said yes, I'm not sure I had that feeling, that mushy mushy feeling of
Yeah, like as in I'm in
yes,
love, as in like head over
aha,
heels.
can't live without you kind of feeling. I'm not sure I had it,
So
but
who had it?
you had it.
Me
That's why you
too.
came to ask. So
The two of you, please.
So I think the more I prayed about it, the more I talked to God about it, somehow that feeling started developing. And I think around that time he was treating me very well too. So that also really helped.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of clicked. One thing I really
Mm.
liked or felt attracted to was his sense of humor. Me, like anybody with a great sense of
Yeah,
humor,
yeah, Charlie, Charlie. Yeah. It's
life
a
is too.
fueling for you.
Oh, I did.
Oh, keep quiet.
Ooh.
So so I think all of those things combined, and then
And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I was working in the bank,
why will I be attracted to
I
that?
thought there was
Oh,
money.
But
I
you,
thought ladies
oh,
will
do you
like
know?
please.
Do you
money.
know my
Was the
secrets?
bank for you?
Do you know my
I know,
Please,
but
was
secrets?
the bank
I was
for
a
you?
young, no, Raj, listen. When I was, no, Raj, when I was in the bank, it was really
See,
a big,
I'm telling you that one day attracted you. You are saying it
no, no, but I
attracted me.
added.
Are you me? It didn't add anything.
Oh, good.
It didn't add, right? It didn't add. I thought he, as of that time, as of that time, I think I knew that part of him that I always saw, like a music director,
Mm-hmm.
any
Mm-hmm.
other thing about him. I'm not sure I knew. And I
Yeah.
thought was great. And the fact that he was coming from a good home, even though his mommy
Yeah.
threw my blazer away, I thought he was
Oh,
coming from a good yes. On my
you need to
Tonyo.
get into that story.
Oh yes, that one day because we were married, the mother was very strict. He didn't want any woman to finish her son.
No,
But
no, I grew up, you see, and that caused most of my low self-esteem, I'm sure, because my mom was the kind that would not allow any ladies come and visit you. Like
yeah,
I wasn't talking to any lady. Like it was that bad, right?
but they didn't
Mm.
know.
Did you know?
I,
They didn't know.
they didn't knew you. They didn't
Behind the
knew.
scenes. They
So
didn't knew behind
they
the
didn't
scenes.
knew. They didn't knew. So I
Mm.
think all that. So I think we'll get into the part where I knew was just a confirmation from God, because when my daddy prayed, what he told me was God didn't really say that he is your husband or anything. God just told him to tell me that David and I will do great things together, and we
Wow.
have his support. That was what my daddy told
Wow.
me. So it wasn't like, oh, he's your husband or anything. So I needed to hear
Mm.
from God for myself. Because I don't believe in the one. I feel, God has people always there for the people that would ask him or count on him or ask for his choices for their lives.
Yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah.
was it. So once I got that confirmation, I was back to tell him that, oh, I'm interested. So let's do this. And then 7 months later,
So what was your confirmation?
I've told you several, you've
Ah,
forgotten.
What was it?
We will get there. You
Okay.
you are
Okay.
you are a
we'll get
listener.
there. Okay, so guys,
Uh-huh.
wait too. Okay, so I mean, I hope you guys are learning a lot. Okay, for those who joined a few minutes ago, this is the dialogue with Lady Raj, and tonight I have Ejubi and Dave here sharing
Can you ask
sharing
Nick
their.
Solomon to stop writing things?
You don't worry, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. He's just countering everything you are saying. I don't know what is going on. Please. So yeah, welcome to the show. They are sharing their journey with us and it's getting interesting. So Ejubi has spoken about how she consulted God, before accepting David's proposal. I hope that those of us who are not married yet are taking notes. And another important thing, she spoke to a father figure in her life, her father. She spoke to an authority in her life about it. So please, there are people who have experience in life, all right? You agree with me, right? There are people who
Yes.
have experience in life and in marriage and in relationships. There are people who have, spiritual insight. So let's not hesitate to involve such people, not just anybody, but, people that you trust, your parents, a spiritual
Yeah.
figure, to just because marriage is such a big deal that you cannot just jump into. You really need to be sure first. So I mean, that's what I picked from it, and I like it. I like it.
Aw.
Okay, guys, continue.
Where did we
Let's
get
do
to?
this.
Okay, so what? The relationship
Uh-huh.
started, and I wouldn't say it was smooth. I wouldn't say it was. It wasn't smooth at all because there were times that it got to a point. Yeah, it got to a point. His ex became back. David, that story.
Oh no, that
Wait,
no,
wait.
no,
Uh,
that
That's
can.
my truth. Let me share my truth.
But I know the whole story. So let me
I'm
see.
sharing my part.
Okay, cool.
When I finish, you share your part. So his ex B, that they said she was dead, reincarnated.
hey,
So you see, don't make
Then
fun of
no,
it.
oh,
I'm
Don't
not.
make
yes,
fun of
you.
it. It was
No,
a
it
serious
wasn't
thing.
funny then, but it's funny now.
No, but if I was dating someone and I heard the person was dead,
But the girl was not dead.
Hey,
but how will I know
David.
the guy wasn't dead?
So why did she come back?
How will I
So
know?
you
Do I
didn't
resurrect
even
people?
confirm.
This Mr. Brother,
Do I
Raj,
resurrect people? How
the
would I
fact
know?
that a dead person came back and David was not scared is what baffles me.
But Jesus
I know,
came
I
back.
know.
Were we
I'm a
scared
dream.
of the?
Jesus came back
Please,
3 days,
my
and then
brother, my brother.
Jesus squared the 3 days. This lady almost a year. Jesus
And
wasn't it
don't be
just three
small.
days? Wasn't it just three
And you will
days?
tell your story, please, Dave.
Let me tell
Dave,
my
hold on. Let
story.
her tell
No,
her
you're
side.
going to make it
What
look
is it?
ridiculous, but I can
When I
explain myself.
finish, you can make yours
No,
unridiculous.
no,
Let me
don't
do my
explain.
own.
Man of God, relax.
Raj, so me, I'm happy. I've gotten someone. Oh, you're laughing. Then one day I went to his place. He has okay. Right, hold on. No, don't into the last one. So sorry, and it was Zion. So
Hey, Zion.
so I found out. I don't even remember how I found out. I don't remember how I found out, but I think it was it a message or something. And then out of nowhere, this lady comes back and David is giving her all the attention, like, oh, where are you? And he's telling lies,
Hey,
oh, I'm here, but Missy A. So I don't know. When we
what's
got married,
going
he
on
used to
here?
call me a witch. He used to call me a witch because how I always find out things actually surprises me. It's either I dream about it or sometimes I just get prompt. Like I don't know. I can't explain it, but I always find
You're
out.
a woman of the
And
spirit,
then I
baby.
and then I found out. So when I found out, I remember one person I spoke to was Madonna because Madonna was very close to me and David as well. And then David will say, "Oh, I'm going to." end things with her. I'm like, how can you even start anything with someone who has resurrected from the dead? Like, aren't you even scared?
Some my pan.
Let me finish. And then and then you check his phone and he's taking selfies with this ghost.
Hey,
Selfies. How do you mean?
Oh,
Like
you took
that?
selfies.
How?
You took in that car, remember?
Which car?
David,
Oh,
David,
how can you not
you
even
there?
remember?
Hold on.
No,
Let
because
Ejubi finish.
okay.
Oh,
They were taking selfies.
please stop bickering. The two of you stop bickering.
They were taking selfies. So I gave him an ultimatum that look, me, I'm a spec. You know what? I'm a spec. You cannot
Go
embarrass
girl,
me.
go girl.
You cannot stress my life. At that time I was young, so yeah, I had people coming around. So I had to flex him small. I said, look, you better make up your mind. So I gave him an ultimatum
And
and
you're
then
old.
and now I'm old. So he came back and said, look, somebody who could lie that she was dead or her family lied that she was dead because they didn't want you to have anything to do with her. I mean, that's not the kind of family. And I told him the truth. I'm not asking you to be with me, but it would be a very wrong choice to be with someone that can pretend to be there. I mean, his family pretend to be dead. So it would be one of the wrong choices you will make all your life. So even if you don't want to be with me, that's fine. Just do whatever you want
Don't
to
be
do.
with a ghost.
Yeah, that's one day. I mean, someone who has died for a year, dear,
Okay,
it's a lot.
can I say my side of the story?
Okay.
You there? We've
No, but
heard
you
you
can't
there.
just
Say
listen
it.
to one side,
It's
Raj.
not
You are
listen to
not
no,
just
that
Okay,
was
there.
my
listening.
Okay,
from where
okay.
I was sitting, that's
Yeah,
what
so
I
you
saw.
have to listen to the other side as
Didn't
well.
she say she
Okay.
was dead?
Ah, no, you.
Okay, let's
Okay,
go.
so Raj, yeah,
Ejubi
so
there, it's okay. Ejubi
yeah,
is David's
this is the
turn.
lady I almost got married to as well. You
How old were
know,
you that you almost got married
what are
to?
you talking about?
How
Hey,
old were you?
Ejubi.
If my mom can
Eunice.
start asking us for wedding picture, wedding colors, it means she realized we're old. Okay, so she wasn't in Ghana. She was somewhere in Qatar or something, one of those funny countries. Yeah, so it was a long distance thing. Okay, so we had grown. We're talking, and we got fond of each other. We fell in love. Now it was time to discuss marriage. It was that serious. So we are asked Kukwa Yari, all
I'm
of
No.
them.
even
Yes,
surprised. Dave,
they
how
knew
come
about
I
this
don't
thing.
even know this? Like, I don't know the person.
They were all excited
Hey,
about it. She was coming to Ghana, and the week she was coming, I didn't hear anything from her. Ah, okay. So now let me. So I was there. Then some lady calls me, funny that she's lost. They can't find her, and I'm like, what are they
hey.
talking about? Somebody. We've had all these things. So after a week, now they said she was dead. I remember at one of the rehearsals, I'll be crying. Like it was that bad. Like it meant a lot to me. So,
My
so
condolence.
Raj, please. Raj, please.
Okay, sorry,
Raj,
sir.
please. So, so then, fine, we are dating everything. Right. If we're you, that you heard that the person you had almost danced up to, okay, had come back to life, how would you feel?
Hey,
Afraid?
David, please, I'll be afraid.
Afraid.
Why?
I will be.
No, so they
Somebody
explained the
who
whole
died.
thing, not knowing her stepdad didn't wanted her to marry a sheikh in Dubai. Some funny story. So it
Man of
really
God.
made sense.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
I had to
It makes
no,
sense. Hey,
as
love
a
to a
normal
strange
human
ground.
being, as a man, I had to make sure she was okay. So the quest of finding out all the things that happened.
Is that why you went to Qatar with New York?
That's what I was going to ask. Hey, David.
So, so, so to make go slow. So to really be sure what happened. No, I had to find out the whole story. I had to find out if she was okay, and there is where probably like it's almost
Please, I
happened.
don't know.
No, oh Raj,
We don't know. We
you
don't
guys
know.
are being
Shrimp.
one way. It's not
Shrimp.
cool. It's not cool.
Okay, there
We
it's
are just
okay.
saying
There it's
explain.
okay. We
No.
know.
Okay, so
And
David, let
Jubi
me
is
ask.
okay. We
Raj,
know.
let me
We
ask.
know. But we know, Bia, or we don't
You know
know.
what?
We know. Okay,
You
there. But
know.
you people, you have kept long on this side of the story.
No, because
Let's
she brought this out
move
into
forward.
I had to bring it up so that when in case you encounter any ghost love, understand that look, it's not worth it. It's not worth
Okay.
it.
I've seen some people
Okay,
reincarnate
that's
and they
it.
fall. Back in love.
You have to show them to me.
Dave, it's okay. Idia, it's okay.
Okay.
We understand you. We
So these were
understand
some
you.
few instances. Yeah, of course. You see, and from I know we are going to dive into things that came from the background of me not understanding whatever, because she had spoken about her exes and how they got hurt and how she got hurt and stuff. I'd also had a share. Okay,
Hmm.
I was dating someone in Central University, and the person I just it was that serious. The person just came one day that she's going back to her ex. Like, these are things that I really got hurt. That I told her about. That it took me a long time to even trust ladies, and to even treat them like I used to. So I was also coming from a preamble of
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
of getting myself a history of hurt. You get what I'm saying? So
Okay, so can I
it
say
was,
that
yeah.
the two of you were not emotionally ready for that relationship that you entered into? Can I say that in the beginning? Can I say
Well,
that?
for me, I was a little bit calm anytime I spoke to her. So I didn't know what else to ask for from anyone else, because if I can feel some way and pick up a phone and call, and she can talk to me and I'll be fine. I felt that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, okay.
I wouldn't really saying I wasn't emotionally ready. I think I'm not sure anybody can, heal completely without actually deciding to move
That's
on.
true. That's true.
Because there would always be a trigger to bring those feelings and those emotions back. But then when you decide to, move on, then it helps because it's a conscious effort. It's a conscious decision you've made. So yeah, that's aside. So the
Okay.
relationship there was it was cool. It was cool. Honestly, aside the ghost story, it was cool. And then the first time I introduced him to my father, oh, they had a good chat and they really liked him. And then the whole marriage issue popped up. And then we started planning for a wedding we weren't ready for.
Why you know why she was saying she wasn't ready? We're not ready because I'd I was on the verge of taking one of the most difficult decisions in my life. I'd worked 8 years in the bank, and I was to decide because I really, my interest, I had a degree in music and everything. My interest was really music. The bank was just for me to just fetch capital. And I'd gotten to a peak in my life where I felt I was getting
Mm-hmm.
rusty as a musician. I was losing everything. And it was very frustrating. Like, I know she hadn't mentioned this, but I was always crying on her that I was losing that touch in music. Like, it was something. So she was part of my parents, they influenced my decision. And she mainly, because of her
Wow.
sound therapeutic advices, like when I
Mm.
mentioned that I wanted to leave the bank, which was very hard, even for my parents. Like, they just couldn't believe a young
Even
man
for
could just wake
me,
up and be like,
even
hey.
for me, it was hard. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, exactly. So I just had to. I was fueled up by her advice that, hey, whatever you decide, I'm in. And how many ladies could say that, like, "Yeah, you are leaving the bank, but I'm still going to be on your side with whatever decision." I'm like, whoa, this. There was nothing that sounded this
This is the
relieving.
woman.
Yeah, exactly. So can you imagine? We are planning for our wedding, everything, and I resigned from the bank.
Hmm. And
I
see, Titi
see
Kabeng,
you
and okay,
became
well, you
rusty,
had
not
worked, you
becoming.
had worked in, we had worked in the bank for a while, so yeah,
Yeah, no,
I'm sure
but
you
but
had
Nick,
gathered some
Nick,
money.
no, Nick is there saying I was there. No one, Nick, the bank. I'll wake up at 5, get ready, leave the bank at 9. Sometimes I get
Yeah,
home at
Charlie.
10. There's no way I'm going to have time to rehearse. Yes. So okay, let me change the weddings. I got rusty. It was because most of my friends were doing full-time music. Of course, they had time to rehearse and
Yeah,
things. Me,
yeah,
nothing. Like, even it got very serious when they added Saturday banking. I was supposed to supervise all the
mm,
remittances, and it got worse even when they even started asking me to come on Sundays. So that was one of my alibis for like, hey, I had to leave. You get it? Because you can't take my only day I could play keyboards or something, and the Saturday too. So it was a really big thing, and you know what goes into weddings and things. Like, the preparation was
yeah.
overwhelming.
Charlie, the
I
preparation.
Yes, I'd come out from the bank with some small capital. I thought I was going to put into my music, create a studio. I had plans,
Mm-hmm.
you get it. And now there's a wedding. I am there. Everybody is bombarding me from left, right. My sister is here. We need a parcel for this. We need to buy this. Listen, it was one of the end. Because I didn't have a good counsel, I started getting angry
Mm,
at the
mm.
whole thing and the whole
At who?
decision. At the whole decision of getting married.
Afei na asɛ woanu wo ho bi saa no.
Yes, like, what is all this, man? You get the timing influence that that anger.
Um, well, I think like I always say, love is not enough. That feeling alone is not enough to want to settle down. And maybe it worked for us because we had very supportive family, but it might not work
Yeah.
for everyone.
Work for everyone. That's
Because
true.
even though we were stressed, and as of that time I wasn't really doing anything, and so it was whatever little savings I had, and then my parents' help, that we were able to pull through. And also, even though I keep saying that if God approves of whatever relationship you are in, it doesn't mean it wouldn't come with struggles. It would, but somehow there's this special, amazing grace that abounds for you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying other people do not have it, but then when God approves of it, there's this special grace that comes with it. Because if we would be honest, I'm not sure we spent so much on that wedding. We were, first of all, we're not trying to please anybody. Secondly, from drinks to what was served there, to rings to gowns, everything, people bought it for us. People bought everything for us. Dave's auntie got the rings. Someone got the gown for me. Even the food they served there. Peter brought drinks and water. Like, the only thing we're supposed to do with was decor, and even for that one to wahala, we ended up even cursing the woman. So
You guess so,
Hey.
I guess.
because she
Okay, guys.
frustrated us.
Okay. So we are done with the wedding. Now let's get
Okay.
married because it's 7:43.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Let's
So we got
start the marriage
married.
proper proper.
I think there has to be a part two, because this
Sir,
Let's you.
yeah,
We
yeah.
got
you
we
dear,
got married
you
on
dear, you dear. Let's get into the marriage and see where it gets us to.
13th June 2015.
Hmm.
Yes. Oh, it was nice. The fact that there was everybody you loved around, the next day was nice. And then reality set in.
Dun, dun.
We were both home. David was trying to get back into music. And as of that time, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I knew David was dealing with anger issues. Right? How you
Please,
insult
I
people at
know,
even
I know.
rehearsal. Yes. And I would say I wasn't mature as I am now. And I also went into the marriage with some form of expectations that got shut, you know. And mine was not anything big because I knew the house he was coming from. I knew the place he was coming from. I sort of had grown to understand the kind of person he was. And even if they were red flags, I knew they were red flags I could deal with. But then you get married and I used to see my dad praying for the family, touching heads, anointing homes, and then you get married to someone, expecting. That's one thing I would want people to learn from.
Mm,
I
mm,
was trying to see
mm.
my dad in my husband, and I was so disappointed that the time you're expecting him to be up praying, because I find it so attractive. When I say it, people love, but it's one of the things that I find extremely attractive. Like, when I see him praying, oh,
A
everywhere
man
spoiled.
praying, man.
Yes, do you get it? And that time is the time this man is on his phone chatting or snoring or he's angry, sitting in some corner that he will not talk to me, those kind of things. And I found it weird. I felt I made a wrong choice. I was disappointed in myself. I was disappointed in him. Then, boom, I'm pregnant. Then things get worse, you know. So, whatever anger that was in there, it, the hormones and everything sort of amplified it. And at that point, Raj, I would be honest, I feel it was not just physical, because back then, I remember nothing I did was pleasing to David's eyes. No matter how beautiful you dressed, no matter how good you cooked. And for me, it was because we gave the devil room to operate. And when you are looking nice and you come home and you're expecting a compliment and you don't get it, you
Hey,
cook.
Abia.
Yes, you cook. You now you know the food is nice. Everybody can testify the food is nice, and you take small be. It's like the devil was working on his taste buds also. Like, everything was basa. Cause me, I wasn't going to ask him for money. I wasn't worrying him for money. I wasn't worrying him for clothes or shoes or anything. I was okay. I was content, and the devil knew that I was not the type that was going to stress him for money. But there were these things that I was expecting. So the devil made sure that you didn't get it, so that yes, wherever this marriage had to go off, like we fall off, we would. And I only realized years later that it was more than what met the eye, because both of us actually grew to know God for who He is. Yes, I used to go to church, but I don't think the kind of relationship I have with God now, where He speaks and I hear, where I'm able to prophesy, where I'm able to understand how the Holy Spirit moves. I'm not sure I had it then. So we're both carnal, we're both immature, and a whole lot of things happened. So I'll leave him for him to say some of the things that almost ended our marriage. That
Okay, okay.
now, maybe he can explain better.
Why are you giving the phone to me?
Explain.
Wait a minute, explain. Let me go to my part. Anyways, but of course, Raj, you know me, I'm very blunt when it comes to these things. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so far as is my part and someone
You
can
like
learn
it.
from it.
You
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so far as someone can learn from it, why not? Yeah. So yeah, there are plenty of things. I realized that you see people get into marriage and they think that everything we were doing previously will just come to a standstill, and that is a very wrong assumption. Like, it even goes a notch higher to the next octave, and it was crazy, you
Guys,
know.
did you hear that? Did you hear that? Repete encore.
Yeah, so it was me still. Listen, there was no difference. Listen, I I I still was going back to the same Adabraka I grew up to work. That's where my studio was. It was the same feeling. Like, I I only remembered I had to go back home when it was probably late. Like, but the same thoughts, the same like there was nothing, the same calls, the same conversations. You understand? So for me, it's fine. You're married, but I was still in the same mess I was in before I even got married. In terms of, yes, I was still chatting with the same ladies. Things you're not supposed to. You're a married man, man. You're supposed to change the weddings, change the whole the whole conversation, let them know, hey, now we can't talk about this, we can't, these places are no-go areas. But
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
yeah, that was
no, and
yeah,
I hear
exactly.
people
But
say that,
yeah,
and when he got married and he changed. Yes, we are
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
change when we get married. You
yeah.
see, and that's the mistake a lot of us make. When we get married, we are supposed to change because you cannot continue to do. Now you have one person more as your responsibility. You're supposed to take care of somebody. You're supposed to give somebody attention. You're supposed to prioritize someone. So yes, please, when people marry, let's stop making them feel bad for wanting their privacy and for wanting to prioritize their spouses. So Dave, please continue.
Yeah, so and another thing, so because of all these, you see, and like she clearly said, yes, I was, you see, and it's sad, especially when the workers, let me say workers in quotes, those who do things in church, those who do things for God, like singers, instrumentalists, you know, we are doing the work of God, but we don't know the person we are working for personally. So it was all over, you're all over the place. You're excited about your giftings, but that relationship wasn't there. So clearly it was like she was saying, it was after so many years that I realized that, oh my God, like it was, I didn't have a relationship with God, and that thing they say, a family that prays together, like we didn't have that relationship. You get what I'm saying? Like you just come, and the
Yeah,
slightest
Charlie.
things.
We're friends, but we weren't praying.
Yes, we're not praying. The slightest thing, and some of the things now I look back, I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, why I should get angry about something as small as like, I'm like, I'm like, what was I smoking? Was I like, what was wrong with me? Like,
I'm sure.
yeah, exactly. So a, 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 a prayerless family life was one of the reasons, and
Mm.
the fact that yes, you are young, you are very overconfident, hey, and still very adventurous. You are married, but you don't want to accept the fact that you're married. You think you want to still have, and it was. I hadn't grown up to the level of marriage yet, and I hadn't accepted the fact that we're ready. And there was this
Mm.
part, because of all these things, she had to even move in with her parents, and I was staying alone
Wow.
for like more than 6 months.
Why did she have to move to her parents?
I don't like stress.
That's
I don't
all.
like stress at all.
So that's
And I
where,
was
You were
pregnant, and
still married,
my
but
no, it was
no,
after the pregnancy. I'm talking
okay.
after that was there.
no, he wasn't. Around that time, he
Yeah,
wasn't.
it was there when we used to fight at Agape. She was there. That was there. Small.
Uh, oh,
Yeah, let me finish. No, let me
oh,
finish. Let me finish. So,
A jubilant in
so there
finisher.
is, yeah. So you see that gap. I'm sure Satan was just excited because now, you are even with the person and you are doing these things. Now the person is not there. There, jubilee, and that was when even the
what's
idea.
Jubilee?
Yeah, jubilee means that free range, like things, and that was when even the idea of the first demonic idea of a divorce came through. I remember
Wow.
calling my father and telling him that, Charlie, I was tired and I didn't want to do this again. And I remember she also had told her parents. So, and what saved us was godly parents. My dad was a pastor, is a pastor. Her parents too a pastor. And they took it to prayer. I'm sure the prayers they were harboring for us because they're like, hey, what's happening with their kids? Like, so I remember going for that meeting in Joby's house because I was staying somewhere else. And I went and the mom was talking, and from her heart she was telling me their experiences and the things they went through. And she was talking, I felt very stupid. So we had to just sign that decision and get back together, and things were listen, Raj, the first 3 years of my relationship, I was like hell. Like
Wow.
nothing actually worked. Nothing
Hmm.
worked. It should take from here.
But
And what did you think caused that? When people talk about compatibility, do you think that there was a gap there? Was it Were you incompatible in a way? I mean, what do you think really caused what was happening?
um Raj, for
Because
me,
also, please hold on before I even
okay.
answer that. People normally say that the first few years of a marriage are difficult. Do you think that it was just in the nature, taking its course or something?
No, I don't. I think it's only difficult. I don't even say it's difficult. I usually say it's annoying because we are from different backgrounds, raised differently. I mean, even how we bath is different, how we chew is different, how we clean is different. So imagine living with someone that was raised by someone else. Even with siblings, we fight. So that's
Yeah,
what makes it difficult. But when it comes to our individual characters, that's where
exactly.
sacrifices and compromises come to play.
Mm,
Because if I enjoy sleeping in an AC or a fan and you have a partner that's shivering in the night, that's where you come to a compromise that look, we are going to do away with AC and probably just do fan, or you'd sacrifice and feel hot for your partner. I think that's very simple. Though it's
mm-hmm.
difficult, if you married someone or if you are friends with whoever you married and you understand what you're doing, it should come off very easy because you want to see that your partner is okay or feeling. But in this case, it was more like finding out new things, though it happens. Like he mentioned, I said we are going to be very honest. David had a lot
And
of self.
I'm getting a lot of comments backstage. Like, people are just loving the whole bluntness and honesty. I mean, we are here for that.
Okay, that is great.
Yeah.
So when we got married, I realized that he was dealing with what do we call it, inferiority complex. I was dealing with it too, but you know me, I'm a loud mouth, and I always say that I'm the only fat person who laughs at fat people. Like, you will never intimidate me. I'll go home. I would rather go home and cry. But out there, there's no
Mm-hmm.
way I'm going to allow you intimidate me and
Mm,
make me feel
mm.
less of myself.
I think
And
it's
then
so
I realized that
important. Eh?
it is.
It
Gradually,
affects our
I grew out
relationship
of
with
it.
people.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, with all the confidence that I thought I had, and then you get married and you realize that, well, before marriage, I mean, they would see you and like, wow, you're looking great. Oh, you're so beautiful. And then you get married and then it's off. And then you see on his phone that he's saying that to somebody else, even if it's just
Somebody
a
else.
friend. I hope you
Mm.
get me. So that was
Yeah, I
where
get.
I started bottling up bitterness because I
Mm,
felt like I was tricked into this whole marriage thing. At that point,
mm,
the devil made sure I had forgotten that I had heard from God. So it was
mm.
important for me to have gone back to the same God to ask for
Exactly.
solution, but I
Mm,
didn't. And then
mm.
the bitterness they were bottling up. And me, I know some yeah, yeah. Everyone knows. Like, I will cripple you with words. And so me that I
You to
was
use
calm,
your
that I was
weapon.
encouraging. Oh yes. I was the one encouraging him with words. Now I was using those same words against him. And my intention was to make him feel little so that I wouldn't have to feel that alone.
That way. Mm.
Yes. And it was working for me. I hope you get it. It was working for me
Perfectly. I get.
because because he was like, it wasn't like he was so rich or anything, but he had women throwing themselves at him, and it was sort of giving him that confidence in that area, so he
Mm,
didn't really care about what I thought. And then I
mm.
started feeling terrible about myself. You look in the mirror and you're thinking, what, why am I like this, why am I like that? And I needed to fight back, which of course wasn't something that was godly. And then when I remember I talked to my dad that he's done this and he has done that. And my dad told me one thing, that I should stop trying to make a good husband out of him and care more about his salvation.
Wow.
Because It
Can you
seemed
say that
like
again? Can you say that again?
I should try. He said that I should stop trying to make a good husband out of him and concentrate on his salvation. Because when he gets close to God and he fears the Lord, these are things that will flow naturally. He wouldn't cheat on you not because you are too beautiful or you are too smart, but because he knows God will hold him accountable. And any man who
Mm,
fears the Lord and knows God is going to hold him accountable will act right.
mm,
And so I
mm,
stopped. I mean, I started praying for him. I remember Madonna would tell him, David, he doesn't even know this. Madonna would tell me to pick his boxers, pick his shirts, take it to the altar, pray for him. My prayer was that God, don't let Dave miss heaven.
mm.
Because you are planning events, overflow events, you use all your savings, you do this, you are drawing people to God.
Charlie.
Meanwhile, you are not close to God.
Mm,
And it looked like he was the only person who didn't know how great he was.
mm.
He didn't know how much potential he had then. And then we that will remind him, no, so we to be ball, you bab.
Yeah,
And
Charlie.
imagine a woman throwing herself at you that, oh, let's date. And you tell the person I have a wife, and she says, oh, this is normal. A lot of the gospel people, they do it. They have girlfriends and stuff. And you're
Okay.
still chatting with her. And funnily enough, when he puts his phone down, he has a password. How I'll open the thing, right? He will now be shocked. So he used to call me a witch. And I tell that David, look, this is something the devil does. He will monitor you till you get to a certain height, and then he will bring you down. He's going to make sure the whole world gets to know of you. And then when he does, then he would embarrass you in front of the whole world. Then you will never be able to get up again. There are lots of people it has happened to. It's not like you're even having sex with all these people. Me, I knew because I was speaking to God and I knew everything you were doing. Sometimes I just wake up and I would ask you, who is this person? Because I would have a dream and I would see everything like in a movie. That was at that point that I realized that God approved of that marriage I was in.
Mm.
And so I needed to do the needful.
Work
Then again,
out.
yes, when it came to the physical, I worked on myself. I wanted to do this or do that, dress well, look good, not for him, but for myself, to start feeling good for myself again. And so when you're there, someone will come and tell you, oh, your husband said he likes me. Your husband, I said, look, is your name this? Me, the messages I've read, or I know the story. You, it's okay, bye
Hmm.
bye. Then we'll end it. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, some of those encounters, it was a lot. But until I stopped worrying about making him my kind of a husband and making sure that God would wax his heart to his and make sure he doesn't miss heaven in
Hmm.
case the trumpet sounds today. And we are here today. When he's praying, oh, na many
Why you
no,
jumping?
Hallelujah.
I'm telling, I'm.
Why you jumping?
When you can go back, you can reverse. So
David, go
I
back to where you think she jumped.
Oh no no no! She
no,
jumped
I'm
to the
telling my
last part.
part. I'm telling my part.
Okay,
Did you
so
get
Okay.
it?
jump to where everything changed.
Where everything changed.
Yeah.
Okay, where everything changed. I think it started from agape. Now I think it started from agape. I don't know, but how you know someone you were living, someone you had a child with, but I didn't know David even knew my body or knew the things I could do well because he wasn't paying attention. Right? You get it? He wasn't
Yeah, I do.
aware
I
of
get it,
my
sis.
capabilities. He didn't know the things I was
Hmm.
capable of because he hadn't really paid attention. You know,
Attention.
when a lot
Hmm.
of other things are distracting you, the things you are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to focus on, you don't do it.
I
And
think
so somehow,
familiarity also sets in for a lot of us when we
exactly,
get married. We become so
yes.
familiar with the person. It's like, yeah, yeah, she's there. She's my wife. She's at home. Yeah, he's my husband. He's at home. He'll be
Mhm.
there when I get there. Yeah. And
You see,
Charlie.
so some of those things for me, I think, David, take your time. I think even when you get married and some of these things happen, just in as much as that you're trying to resolve it with family and you know all of that, the spiritual aspect is something you cannot take for granted. Because me, the very day I got married, the day I told you right, I had in my dream. I got somebody came to me and warned me like very strong warning, like this thing that was not supposed to happen. You think you can make it happen? Just wait and see. I took it like
Wow.
I didn't take it serious. Like I didn't really. I think I should have fasted and prayed about it. I just forgot. I was excited. We're having plenty sex at Well, where did we go to go for it? So we we forgot about
Oh,
it.
the dog is,
But it was obvious, it was clear that this was not supposed to happen. And so yes, you would have to pay for it with whatever you would have to. And it's not been easy. I mean, it wasn't easy then. Now, spiritually, we are both mature. Sometimes when someone says that I saw that this and this, we'll be here, we'll be laughing like, oh, they should go and rest. But back then, it wasn't like that. So,
Hmm.
David, where do you want him to come in?
okay. So
Dave,
so
he nice
that
coming in
yeah.
himself.
So before COVID, I don't know what struck me. Like you
Oh,
know,
but you had changed long ago. The COVID was.
yeah. So you know, another thing to the fact that this session thing. So I wasn't even grounded in a church. You know,
Mm.
for like three
You're
years, I
always
didn't
going
have a
somewhere.
church.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't have a church, and Sundays I'll be home and I'll be eavesdropping on some ICG church, some meters away. Like I'll be listening, and like there was nothing spiritual. I was in,
You didn't feel
not
there was
under
anything wrong with
any
that.
spiritual. I wasn't paying my tithe. I wasn't doing like. Listen, let me be truthful. I wasn't a Christian. Like I
Mm.
was just doing things for God. I
Mm.
wasn't a Christian. So
Mm.
then I'm like, that saw poor situation where you get to the peak and now there's this test.
Mm.
Like there's this test. I can't explain it. Like I'm just there and I'm feeling very, very, very some way. Like as if there's something missing. I can't find what's missing too. Like and then I start praying. Like I know it sounds like a cliche, but like I start,
Exactly. I was going to say the exact same thing. Like when we talk like this, people think that this, I mean, cliche. Like
yeah, like
it's real,
like
guys. I mean,
yeah, there's always this test, especially when it's time for God to take his own, like that test. I still can't explain it. Like I'm there and I'm feeling very, 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 very sad for every, especially here. It starts like this. I'm
Remorseful.
yeah, I'm remorseful. I call her and I'm caring, like I'm like, hey, like what have I done? Just like that kind of life. Like I'm regretting everything. And I'm praying. I tell myself that okay, let me have that encounter. Like, okay, for once, like I've tried in the past, I've tried to come up and I fall. I tried to come up. But now let me feel that thing that everyone people have been saying when they are testifying and things. So now small, I start praying. I start watching all the YouTube, like the pastors, like the sermons and that's where the story I told the other time started. Like I
mm.
started having control over things. I was clearing my phone book numbers. I remember I deleted over 300, 400 numbers. I
Wow.
was blocking people left and right. Like just all of a sudden I was deleting things. I was formatting my PC. I was everything to just clear the whole past and I don't even know what was influencing me to do all these things. Now the I was a foodie in quotes, like now I was getting control. Like I was hey, I won't eat this. I don't even know where all that strength came from, right? And so when we moved to the new place, it even got worse. I'll be there, they are all sleeping, and I'll be praying. I'm sure this if I say it like this, it will sound some way. So let her tell you herself.
She
herself.
told me, lah. You did, you be tell them.
Hmm. I think one thing we would have to realize is that when God decides to work on someone, it's not in a rush
Mm.
at all.
Mm.
Because I think for the first 2 years of the marriage,
Three.
no, it was first two. The third one was when I saw the change. I realized that he didn't want to be angry anymore. he didn't want to talk too much. He wants to, he will start paying his tithes small, small, then he will stop. He'll start praying, and then at some point he will stop, that kind of thing. The willingness was there. But like I mentioned, God was working on him, and God had to take him through all of these to make sure it was right and was perfect. Because I remember an issue happened, and Pastor Isaiah called, and I was like, look, I'm just scaring him small, small. You people should go and sleep. Because what's happening right now to him, I prayed for it. I asked God to put him in a position where he would have no option than to run back to him.
Mm.
And so when everybody was worried about me, how is Ajubi feeling? What was this? I was in my room laughing. Erase can testify. I'll send her a message like, look at these people, and we'll be laughing.
Mhm.
It was supposed to have made me sad, but there was this joy God put in my heart because I understood what he was doing, and I was trusting his timing and the process he was taking David through. Because clearly he was born for greatness. And because he didn't understand and know this, or probably didn't accept it, the devil had his way of, taking that gift away from him. And he had to take it back. Willingly or
Mm.
unwillingly, he had to take it back.
Mm.
Consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or not, he had to take it back. And all of these family, friends that were interceding for him, it wasn't in vain. It might have taken months or even years, but God was definitely up to something. He was working on him. So for me, if you see some of these things, the most important thing, and I'm not just speaking about women, usually they'll say, oh, pray for your husband, pray for your husband. But if you realize some of these things about your wife also, it's important that you seek the face of God.
Mm.
Honestly, aside the physical things of going for counseling, therapy, whatever it is that you can do, just run back to God. Because that's just it. Once you have God directing you on which path to take, it becomes very, very easy.
Mm. Yeah.
So yes, he started praying, and me too. I started sleeping because I was getting comfortable.
You told me la.
Yes, yes. When I see him praying, then I'll just cover my head with the way I'll sleep because the demons can't come. Somebody's praying,
You
you
have
know.
finished your own.
I finished. So sometimes you call me that. Let's go and pray. I say, hey, bruh, go and pray. I'm tired. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I felt like I've prayed that you to pray for us. I hope he gets it. So, when it started like that, then he felt he had to work on his body as well. That was where the whole weight loss started, and then the weight loss journey started, and then he lost. How many kilos did you lose? I don't remember, but he lost a lot of weight, and he became totally transformed. But the actual change, as in, getting to know God, I think it started way before. But like
Mm.
he mentioned, it was like on and off.
On and
It
off.
was There
Yeah.
was no consistency. But then when it was time for God to just arrest him, he did it with nobody's help. So we can't
Mm.
even explain it. It
Yeah.
just happened. And ever
It was
since,
a
if
personal
you would
thing.
be honest, ever since he got into that space with God, there have been openings that you never think or imagine. People don't mind dashing you things. People don't mind, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's mind blowing. That's when you understand that your gift will definitely make room for you.
Yeah.
That's when you have an actual meaning to it. Because right now you are in a very good place with God. And so, like, things were just happening. Open doors, like you don't struggle to even get things or
Yeah.
deal with
Yeah.
issues. And
Bible says
that's
that
that's
when
just
a man's ways pleases God, he causes even his enemies to something something love him or something
yeah.
something like that. Yes. So
Yes. So that's so far, that's where we
wow,
are now.
wow, wow, wow. I mean, this is such an inspiring story, and so let me ask the two of you before we end the session,
Okay.
what is your advice to people who are yet to marry, people who are about to enter into the institution of marriage, young Christian couples who are about to get married. What is your advice to them? And please, for those of us here, if you have any questions or comments, kindly drop them in the comment section, or you can send me a personal message, a direct message. We'll be rounding up within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before the last time on your show. Marriage is not an antidote to promiscuity.
Mm,
If you think you get married and all this bad subai will just disappear into thin air, it's a joke. It actually gets worse. So for me, the first thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, you can't be ever ready for marriage until you decide to take the step. You would always feel
yeah.
like you're not ready.
Yeah.
But you, when you have bad habits, you know you do. You know. Sometimes you might not want to accept it, but you know.
But deep
You know
down,
there are things
no.
that you, yes, that you know there are things that you need to work on or deal with. You know, you always know. Like someone saying, when I see women na me hu na ye me bibi, you know you have a problem, you are dealing with lust, you know. You might be in church, you might be the choir leader, you might be whatever, but when you are dealing with lust, you know you're dealing with lust. And so you seek help, you seek the necessary help before you decide to get married, woman or man. Also, I will advise that at least financially, there should be something going on. I mean, whether you are doing something on your own or you are working for someone, there should be something going on. Most people might not really admit to it, and yami na nipa na, that's those kind of things. Yeah,
Charlie,
yami na
nyame
nipa,
na
but
hwɛ nipa o, but
nyami,
yeah, asase so no, we
oh,
use money to buy things, not faith.
nyame,
Faith
nya-
is
nyame
big, is
nsoma
very
obi sɛ
powerful.
ɔmfa sika mbrɛ wo na ebi ɛkɔm
Exactly.
you know. So I'm saying that it's important that at least you don't need it all. If you can afford a place where you are comfortable, where you can pay rent, where you when you're hungry you can get food to eat, I think it's okay. You don't need it. You don't need any huge house or do any extraordinary thing. Just, I mean, there should be something going on.
Yeah,
When
comfort. It
you're
should be
in case you get
comfortable.
pregnant, yeah, can you take care of yourself? Can you, you know, can you buy baby stuff? All of those things. These are things you should consider. At least you should consider before settling down. And then my last one would be the fact that we are not saying
Hello. Oh. Eunice, can you hear me? Dave. Hello. Wow. When we're almost down. We're almost done. Ijubi, can you hear me? You are muted though. Please unmute yourself and let's
hello.
see. Great, great. I can hear you
Right,
now.
sorry. Our lights went off, so the Wi-Fi disconnected.
Okay, that's fine.
What we are not saying this to say that, I mean, sharing this to say that if you are in the marriage and it has become a war zone or um whatever. I mean, with all the stories we are hearing, you should pray or stick and stay. Please, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
please. We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, please. We can
Right.
hear you.
That's if someone said that what God has put together, let no man put asunder. I mean, it's the Bible, and someone said that what if it's not God that put you together?
You.
Then it can be put asunder. So just be sure, please be sure, at least be sure that this thing you are doing, God was involved. And when it gets to a point where you know that they are killing you, don't say Adubi and David said that you can make it work in Tino. I'm not going to look, seek help or do anything. I'm just going to stay and then kill myself. So yes, amazing marriages exist, and we are a testimony. It didn't start like this, but we are in a
Mm.
space where we can confidently say that God is in this, and we are one of the
Yeah.
most happiest family alive right now, and we give
Yes,
God all the
so
glory.
we give glory to
Can I
God.
say mine?
Yeah, take it.
Okay,
Yes, please say yours.
don't get married to prove a point. Um,
Okay.
um, yes. People get married for very interesting reasons. You'll be shocked why people get married, and mine was one of those things. Like I always say that where
You wanted to
I
be the
found
first
myself.
in PL crew.
It's not like pure crew, but I wanted to be. There was a tag on musicians, hey Casanovas, and it was true.
Yeah, and
So
you
fine,
had to prove
let
them
let me
wrong.
prove a point that we can. But you see, I was proving which points. At the end of the day, the points proved me. You get it. So yes, get ready and be open to your partner about your weaknesses.
Mm.
Talk about them. Yes, talk about them. Exploit ways of minimizing the effect. Like, be very honest. Don't be a superhero. Cover things up and
Mm.
and be trying to tame things down when you can't control it all by yourself, because everyone needs help. And yes, when you're very honest, the two of you, at least the surprise element is minimized. So these things, and of course the prayer part, like I've seen it work. Like, and it started like I learned it when I was small. Anytime we join hands as a family, as little as I was, that day when I went to school, I had one of the peaceful days. Family, even me, the child, like there was this joy, this relief. So you can't do without prayer as a couple. It needs to be the bedrock. You need to, well, and I didn't know we were not praying. Listen, it never happened. We could go a week, well, because your mama
Mm.
somewhere. Yes, but when I say prayer, prayer, like
Yeah.
finding time to hold
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
to pray for each other. Yeah, I can ask
Mm.
her. I can be there. I'll tell her that I want her to pray for me. I kneel down in front of her.
Mm.
And it works that day when I go out, the blessings and the openings. Yes. So these things, like I've become like Freya. Like if you do something against right now, I just laugh because I know in the evening I'll go to work it out to my source. And it works. Like I never saw the effect of prayer till I had to really do it. So these things are, and many more we might have forgotten a lot, but these things are the bedrock of having a very healthy marriage. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. You know, whenever I have the chance to talk to people who are dating, I always tell them to pray together. Like, start praying together now so that you have built a culture, so that
Yeah.
it's not now when you get married, you are now about to learn it. When you start praying together, it makes it easier. It just flows. Like, otherwise, then when you get married and you want to start, then maybe one of you feel as like, Adena, why are you like trying to pretend when we're dating, we're not praying? Why is it that now? But
Mm-hmm.
if you start praying as a couple when you are dating, it just makes it easy. So please, this is to those of us who are dating. Please start praying. I don't mean by all means go and stand on a park somewhere and pray. That one is powerful. And I don't mean go to his house and go and pray. That one will not help you. You can pray over the phone. It will
That
help.
one. That one.
If you can pray over the phone, in the evenings before you sleep, you can pray over the phone, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. It's fine. It's fine. If you go to church together and you get the opportunity to hold hands to pray, please do it. Unless, of course, you are hiding your relationship. But if you are not hiding it there, you can hold hands and pray together, and it will translate into your marriage. So thank you so much,
But
David and
Raj, I was
Juby.
gonna say something
Yes,
that
sir.
like I saw a comment like that, and I just know why God made this happen, because God needs people who can share real life testimonies. And
Yes,
God, of course,
yes.
I had some small influence. And even when I came back looking all trimmed up and all that, I just will tell you the kind of messages I got in my
Yeah.
inbox, and I still get, on
Hmm.
how they can also go on that spiritual life, and how they can also do the whole weight loss. I was like, oh my God, people are going through a lot.
Hmm.
It was overwhelming. I was like, hey. So my story was blessing people. So that's why when I find myself in this position to share, like, I'm brutally honest, because
And
I
we are
felt like
so grateful.
it's
I
a
mean,
privilege for God to use
yes,
me and my past, and
yes.
to turn me around
It's
to
a
be a
testimony.
testimony
And
for
that's how
somebody.
we
So I
overcome.
thank God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
so
are
much for
great.
sharing your
You're
Shout out, shout
testimony
welcome.
with
out,
us.
shout out,
Shout out.
shout out, shout out.
And our friends and our friends and our family, so
Yes.
supportive. I think it's important that you make the right friends, and then because
Yes.
I know there are a lot of things that happen that some of us we didn't get to know. They will be busy
Mm.
praying for us, and we knew.
Any prayed?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody prayed.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
know.
so
So the
Jesus.
kind of friends you keep, yes, and then no rush. Marriage, dear, is nice, but please, please, just take your time. Be sure about each other, and then yeah, I'm sure it'll be good to go. So if anyone has any questions,
Yeah. So please, if you have any questions and you want to ask, I have
No,
just
no
4 minutes.
question.
Okay. Well, I've got a lot of messages. The two of you, PK. You know
yeah,
Yeah,
PK.
hey,
yeah.
PK is
Eh,
family. PK is family.
Because a
PK
brother.
says here. PK says
Let's read
that
the comments. Why
he
became
had to leave earlier. Not Some moments I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, PK.
yeah,
Yeah.
PK, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, PK. He had to leave earlier, and he said he's so glad that you guys shared your story. Now, as for the ghost lover there, he doesn't want to say anything about that one.
She, hey, who is this girl now? Please, I think I hear she's married. Why?
And so,
Okay. All right. So, I mean, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing your story. For those of us who are married to, it's not too
Felicia, we
late
see you. Felicia, we see you.
to make things
yeah,
right. You guys are giving shout outs. Let me give my own
Yes,
shout
you
outs
see.
to
Oh yes, Clara, lights out. Oh, it's back. It's back.
yeah. Oyarifa is back
I'm
there.
at every
any
the
of my
whole
lights
year.
about Yari
Hey,
Fafo.
I'm at every send pictures of workout, man.
So I want
It's
to give
next
a
of
shout out to my
Nick
biological
Solomon, Nick
father.
Solomon.
Next one, he's gone.
Oh, I see
He
mommy
has
too.
come to talk. Now
Mommy Adichumwa.
he's gone.
My baby.
My
He's gone.
my
Okay.
father is here. Mr. Kobnemi
Oh,
Seisman
that's
is
nice.
here.
Hey,
My
yeah,
husband, the executive producer of the
yeah,
show, is here.
yeah.
Thanks so much, baby, for all the support.
Woo!
You are the
Oh,
best in the whole wide world.
oh, and that's
my
sweet.
oh, my best friend Sonia is here.
Hey,
Oh, I
Sonia,
see
Sonia.
Sonia, we go way back.
Sonia is
Oh,
here. I see my sister Lydia, Charlie, everybody. Thank you all so much for the support. My choir members are here. And God bless
you're
you so much.
welcome.
Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lady Raj. And
Mm.
yeah, you will get all the previous episodes there. Thank you so much. Next, now we air every other week. So next week we are not going to air. And the following
Okay.
week, I have a program at church. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll have to push it to next week so that I can miss it. So let's see how we'll go about that one. I'll definitely communicate to you. God bless you. And may God bless our marriages. If you're having
Amen.
challenges in your marriage, if you are embittered against your spouse, you are having any issue with your spouse, I pray that God will heal your marriage. Those who are
Amen.
expecting, believing God for life partners, I pray that the Lord will direct our paths to cross
Amen.
with the right people. In the name of Jesus, God richly bless you. Good night and bye
Amen.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.